Well, then all that was for nothing?
Pricks! Fuck Cap! No. Remember your pressure points.
Do I exercise?
Woosah.
Woosah.
21,000.
Oh, the pain is real, captains. And I don't know why you clicked on this video. Apparently you're a glutton for punishment like I am. Why I chose to do this series knowing I was going to have to run into this abysmal, girthy monstrosity known as the Colorado is beyond me, but here we are. And why I'm even featuring another video, what's the point? I mean, I'm just going to say it right off the bat. If you can skip this ship, by all means, do it. If you enjoy this ship, then I have to question your choice of a lot of things. But to each their own. Some people are into self-harm and sadomasochism, but I'm not. And as much as I wanted to try to enjoy this, I even told myself before we even jumped into this thing, haven't played it in a while. You GXP'd it when you first got it because you didn't like it all that much. There's been a lot of time that's gone by, years in fact. Maybe things have changed. Maybe things have gotten better. Maybe you can make something good come from this because the experience that you had when you first got it, you're far more advanced than you were then. Maybe we can salvage what is this floating poop deck of a monstrosity. Maybe. Well, in this game is probably the best outing that I've had, as we see a New Orleans that is just sailing broadside. And for the most part, we got some pretty decent salvos in this game, but I'm telling you, it was kind of like that, 3 over pens. It was really a tough outing. Now, this is just me. I know I'm crapping on this ship, and I'm sure there are battleship captains out there that are turning over in their seats and just laughing at me because I don't know how to battleship correctly. And you may be correct. I am not the best battleship captain, but I've been the first to say that I'm not the best battleship captain, as we still don't get a Citadel on that broadside New Orleans with 16-inch guns. And these salvos didn't look all that half bad to start, but we still weren't able to really connect with anything. That was just kind of the story of my experience in this ship. As you saw in the clips previously, a lot of times the clips that you saw, the games weren't going in the right direction, and so I tried to make something happen out of nothing, or I wasn't getting the spotting that I needed, and I was getting frustrated, and I was moving up probably a little too far forward than I should have, and I was getting torpedoed and beat up and ruined. And then there are other times where it doesn't matter how much you angle because the armor in this thing is absolutely stupid and dumb. It's coated in 25 millimeters of armor, which is the exact same armor as the New Mexico, the tier below it, and where I was praising the armor rating a little bit for being an upgrade for tier 5, here at tier 6 it is very much a downgrade to keep the exact same armor scheme of 25 millimeters everywhere. I don't mean just in one section, I mean from tip to stern and everywhere in between. This thing is nothing but 25 millimeters of armor, and the only thing that you can bow tank and bounce shells off of are 14-inch shells, which, by the way, when you're in Tier 6 and you seem to always be up-tiered in Tier 7 matches, like the one that we're in right here, you don't get to face 14-inch guns. You're always facing 15-inch guns or 16-inch guns. So you don't get the benefit of angling appropriately. Yes, you may save a Citadel here and there, but overall, you're a glutton for punishment. You have to hide, which I can't stand that in a battleship. You don't have very accurate guns, as we, oddly enough, get a Citadel right there against a Suzuya that was hiding at around 14 clicks away, which is about the best I could get. But you're subject to RNG, and most of the time, I'm not getting the salvos that I wish I would have. And even in this game where I get more favorable RNG, you'll still see that you're still subject to your teammates. And against a carrier, you're pretty much at the mercy of a carrier. That's a really good looking salvo too. And here I thought, oh, this guy's done. It hit a little behind, but still couldn't finish the deed. I'll let the gameplay kind of go in the background as I continue to disassemble this ship, and for the reasons why I can't stand it. If you can advance to get to the Iowa, I would do so. There is such a stark difference between this ship and the Iowa, which also brings me to a point as we're shooting the North Carolina. That's the ship that we should have featured, not the Colorado. It just doesn't fit in this line. They brought an alternate battleship American line, which the Colorado would have technically fit in much better, because the successor to the Colorado could have been the Kansas and then the Minnesota, because they're the same body type structures and they have this same play style. They're the slow, cumbersome, really big, girthy battleships. And the North Carolina is not like that at all. In fact, it looks like an Iowa because that's what it's kind of modeled after. So why the North Carolina wasn't in this line is beyond me, but it's a little too late now. Wargaming can't change it. So it's just, it's the one misnomer as far as, or misstep that Wargaming made as far as putting the Colorado in this specific battleship line, whereas it would be better fit in the alternate and bring the North Carolina over to this one. But that's the way it is. Now, I could have featured it because I have the North Carolina, but it wouldn't have worked because after the New Mexico, you can't just purchase the North Carolina. You have to get the Colorado, or you have to start it from scratch at the tier 4 Nevada and work your way up to get to the North Carolina. So, anyway, so here was about the best shot that I had all game. All the entire time I've tried getting anything. That Suzuya had no idea I was shooting at him, and I got favorable RNG and wiped him off the board. Woohoo! It's about the only fun, beneficial thing that I did this entire video, or series of trying to get a video for the Colorado. But all that to say, and you can see my health is still relatively doing well, and I've amassed more damage than my ship's XP. So I guess I've done enough to consider myself worthy of even being in this match, even though it's a tier 7. The carrier didn't even really focus us. And here we're up in ship count, but pretty soon here, our entire team is about to just straight up melt. And we are just going to start dropping like flies. Doesn't really help, though, that all of our ships are over here. So our team overall just didn't play it very well. And I'm just going to, not that I'm not spoiling anything, this is going to be a loss. And in fact, I'm going to end up being by myself here really, really soon. I wanted to see if I could put a hurting on this mines that's way out there, as I've been having some pretty favorable salvos up to this point. That one was way behind. He's a lot faster, but we still get a decent hit, even though our aim, I felt, was really, really off. So all that to say, I don't like this ship. I really struggled playing this. I knew it was going to probably be like this. I don't get a high caliber, so I unfortunately break the streak of not getting a high caliber in these games. But you're not going to get high calibers in this thing all the time. It's not the typical thing. In fact, of the 8 or 9 games that I played trying to get a decent video, I didn't get a single high caliber. I didn't last long enough in most games in order to be able to warrant getting one. This was the closest one that I got, and I knew I was trying to spread the love in order to be able to take as much hit points off of as many ships as I possibly could, so that I could hopefully get the high caliber. Look at that. That's actually a pretty good shot right there. Still can't get a Citadel off of it, but all 4 shells hit. And that's rare. I'm telling you right now, that's rare. Even though the mountain icon says I can't hit him, I decided to try anyway. And I do end up coming up short, and I hit the island, so I wasn't able to take him out. But as you can see, our ships are dropping like flies, and it's just not going to end well for us. I am looking forward to the Iowa. It is a much different ship. It has the armor. It has the 16-inch guns. It's in a much different turret configuration. It has more guns. It's just a better overall ship. than the Colorado. You can't even bow tank against 15-inch shells, like I was saying. The Leon is one of the few ships that I actually could bow tank against because they have 14-inch shells, but they have 16 of them. So if you stay broadside to that thing, you're asking for trouble. But we don't actually get punished, really. In fact, we don't get focused hardly at all in this match. We dealt out quite a bit of damage for what I could get, but nobody really focused us. I guess because they considered me kind of a joker and not really that much of a threat. I don't know. But we didn't really have any issues here. And so, anyway, I can't really see this guy. He's just staying right behind the island. He's not going to come out. He's not going to want to face me, which is annoying. So he's going to be able to shoot around that island and get shots on me, and I can't hit him. So, anyway. How are you doing with the Colorado? Do you guys have success with it? Am I just completely off when it comes to this thing? Please tell me. I mean, I'll be happy to admit that I'm wrong. And I know that there are people that have had far better games in this thing than I've been able to produce in this last week. And, but I can't seem to do well in this thing. It's just so inconsistent with its accuracy for me. The armor is horrible for the tier. I was constantly getting up tiered into tier 7 matches, which only made it worse. The only time that you would probably remotely have a decent to fun or competitive game is if you were top tier and the only tier 6 battleship and you were up against tier 5s. There, I'm the last ship alive and we lose on Mercy Rule. Thank God. I really just wanted to get through this. I was actually quite surprised that I amassed 1,700 base XP in a loss. Actually did relatively well being in a tier 6, tier 7 match, but overall, I'm just thankful that this is done. If you've stuck around this long to the end of this video, I'm so very thankful to you. You can put up with a lot more pain than I can, apparently. But anyway, that's the end of the Colorado. Moving on to the Iowa, then the Maine, and the Montana to round out this series. So thank you, captains, for sticking around and watching with me. This is the USS Endeavor, signing off. Good God.